Jr. Muli ang ating pong pakinggan ang mensahe ng ating Pangulo mula kay President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Nambaga pigatay amin apo at datata ni Apo Presidente Bongbong Marcos. The Honorable Republic of the Philippines, Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr., the Secretary of the DSWD, Rex Gatchalian, our Governor of the Province of Abra, Governor Dominic Valera, our Congresswoman Nancy Bernos, and the Mayor of the President of the Mayor's League, Apo J.B. Bernos. Good morning ta kanyayo. Amin Apo. Nagasa tayo tadda ni Apo Presidente ngumay mangted ti mangted ititulong kan ayat na kanya tayo dito sa probinsya ti Abra. Now, I will introduce to you the President of the Republic of the Philippines, Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr.
Just thinking na, the leadership of the province of Abra, who are here, led of course by the led by the governor, the father of the province, Governor Dominic Valera, at ang ating mga opisyales, lahat na apo nga mayores, apo nga barangay chairman, ken barangay officials, naimbag nga daw yung amin. We are here because sabi ko nga kay Vice Governor Joy, nandito rin ako last year, 1 year and 1 week before. Sabi ko, nung nangyari yun, lindol naman yun. Ngayon, nandito na naman ako, bagyo naman itong nakaharap sa atin. Kaya sabi ko, hindi na ako babalik dito, kundi pampiesta na lang. Ayoko na ng ganito. Baka ako nagdadala nito eh. Anyway, nandito kami, tinitignan, nagkakatapos lang yung briefing tungkol sa epekto ng bagyo sa ating mga karating probinsya sa Cordillera. And nandyan at nakaredy na. Yung mga ibang daan ay hindi pa madaanan kasi may na-landslide yung iba may tubig pa. Pero pagkatapos na mangyari yun, mapapadala na natin lahat yan. Kaya we have prepared, marami na kaming nakahanda, food packs nga at hanggang dyan. Susunod dyan, ay ang na importante, water supply, pero susunod dyan yung kuryente. Kaya dyan kami nahihirapan at dito, ang nangyari dito sa probinsya ng Abra ay bumagsak ang mga poste. Kaya kailangan na naman natin either itayo ulit yan o maglagay tayo ng bago. At sabay doon ay kailangan titignan yung mga koneksyon na maayos. Kasi kung i-on natin, may kuryente. Pero pinutol yung kuryente dahil sa bagyo. Ganun naman, laging ginagawa yan. Kasi ayaw na, pag tinamaan, pag may nahulugan ng kahoy, masisira lahat ng sistema. Kaya naman, ayaw nila ring i-on hanggang na-inspeksyon na nila. Lahat ng poste, lahat ng koneksyon, lahat ng mga wiring na makita nila na maayos na. Kaya yun ang medyo kasi dahan-dahanin namin. Dati natin ginagawa kapag ganito, may bagyo, humihingi tayo ng tulong sa ibang probinsya na magpadala ng lineman. Nung Typhoon Odette, ganun ang aming ginawa. Marami kaming kinuha na lineman na galing sa ibang probinsya para makatulong. At yun din ang gagawin natin. Siguro kahit sa Southern Luzon, medyo pwede sila magpadala ng mga tao nila para maparami, mapabilis ang proseso. Yun ang aming sinusunod. Ang susunod naman dyan ay yung pag-recover, pag-rehabilitate at saka yung rebuilding na. Kaya tinitignan na rin namin gaano karami ang damage, ilan yung talagang nasiraan ng bahay, ano yung mga damage doon sa ibang bahay. At magpo-provide din kami ng building materials para naman maitayo ulit at mabalikan. Lahat ng mga nasa evacuation center ay bibigyan naman, alagaan naman. Pati na yung mga nawala sa bahay na kung saan lang pumunta ay hinahanap din namin para bigyan ng tulong dahil na-displace nga sila. Kaya yan po ang report lang namin. Kaya kami nandito para tiyakin na maayos ang takbo at magbigay ng instruction para maging maliwanag kung ano yung dapat nating gawin. Mahusay naman ang ating mga disaster response team sa LGU, sa national, at maganda naman ang ugnayan ng national at saka local. Kaya't sa palagay ko, sa lalong madaling panahon, may babalik na natin lahat ng mga serbisyo na kinakailangan. Dito sa Abra, sa Banggid pa lamang, at saka hindi pa lahat ng barangay ang may kuryente. Kaya ito isang nilalakad. Doon naman sa amin, sa Ilocos Norte, mas grabe pa. 2% pa lang ng kuryente namin ang bumalik. Pero kaya pupuntahan ko mamaya, titignan natin kung ano yung pwedeng gagawin. So, dahan-dahan, basta't maging maayos, pati pala yung sa communication, meron tayong pinadala rito, yung satellite. Magdadagdag din tayo para maipadala natin dun sa mga malalayo. Kasi sila talagang nangangailangan ng communication para makapag-report sila sa atin kung anong nangyari sa kanila at ano yung pangangailangan nila. So, yun po ang sadya namin dito. At kailan ang susunod yung piyesta? March? Sige, doon na lang ako pupunta. Siguro pagka ganun, i-schedule na natin para hindi na po pwede pumasok ang bagyo at hindi na maglindol. Maraming salamat. Just take na po.
Maraming salamat po, mahal na Pangulo. At ngayon, ang tanggapan ng ating Pangulo, ang Office of the President, ay mamamahagi ng tulong. Inaanyayahan po natin ang Pangulo upang pangunahan ang pamamahagi ng cash assistance para sa ating mga lokal na pamahalaan. Inaanyayahan din po natin si Special Assistant to the President, Anton Lagdameo, upang samahan ang Pangulo. Upang tanggapin ang cash assistance na nagkakahalaga ng 20 million pesos para sa lalawigan ng Abra, atin pong tinatawagan si Abra Governor Dominic Valera. Upang tumanggap ng cash assistance na nagkakahalaga ng 10 million pesos para sa lalawigan ng Mountain Province, atin pong tinatawagan si Mountain Province Governor Bonifacio Lacwasan Jr. Upang tumanggap ng cash assistance para sa lalawigan ng Benguet, atin pong tawagin si Benguet Governor Melchor de Clas. Atin naman po tawagin ang province of Abra kasama na ang mayor ng ang 27 Abra. AIS po. Ngayon naman po, umpisahan na natin ang pamamahagi ng iba't ibang tulong mula sa pamahalaan. Iniimbitahan din natin upang samahan ng ating Pangulo si DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian, Abra Governor Dominic Valera Aelio, Ms. Jocelyn Rapinian. Ngayon naman, ang Department of Agriculture ay magagawad ng Certificate of Award sa probinsya ng Abra. Ang kaubuang halaga ng assistance mula sa Department of Agriculture ay umaabot ng 9.9 million peso.
Yan po ang latest na kaganapan ngayon sa Abra, mga kababayan, at namimigay po ng cash assistance si Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos sa mga tinamaan ng malubha doon sa norte. Ito po, mga kababayan ko, kasama niya po dito sa Kaon. I think this is the second time na magkasama sila ni This is the first time na nagkasama po ang magkapatid na Marcos sa proyektong katulad nito inyong nakikita, mga kababayan.
Ngayon naman,
at mamaya-maya lang po, huwag kayong bibitiw, mga kababayan. May live press conference po tayo together with the President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, kasama si Senator Imee, kasama ang NDRMCO. At kung makikita nyo po, mga kababayan, ito po ang kauna-unahang pagkakataon na nagsama ang dalawang magkapatid dito sa Abra. And please don't, sa 172,000 viewers natin today, please don't forget to like this live streaming nang sa ganun ay ma-notify natin yung mga kababayan natin na nag-aantay ng latest update sa Ilocos Norte at sa Abra. And please don't forget to like this live streaming, mga kababayan ko. Maraming salamat po. Huwag nyo pong kakalimutan na i-like ang ating live stream ngayong araw na to. Paabuti natin 100 likes to, mga kababayan, nang sa ganun ay ma-notify natin yung iba pa nating mga kababayan na hindi pa nakakapanood o nangangamusta sa Abra, mga kababayan ko. Kamusta na kaya? The last time, andyan din kami sa Abra noon lumindol at nagbigay din kami ng konting tulong sa mga kababayan natin.
At family food packs sina.
Join force po ang magkapatid ngayon, mga kababayan, dahil alam niyo naman, malapit sa kanila ang Ilocos, ang norte, mga kababayan ko. Now, please don't forget to like this live streaming, mga kababayan, nang sa ganun ay ma-notify natin yung mga kababayan natin na hindi pa nakakapanood nitong video na to, mga kababayan. Ikalat natin to, ibahagi natin to na ang Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos kasama ang Senator Imee Marcos na magkasama sila ngayon dito sa norte, mga kababayan ko.
Miss Melody Adame.
Good afternoon, watching din po sa province ng Isabela. Maraming salamat, Ma'am Teresa de la Cruz. Kaya wag niyong kakalimutan, tumutok kayo dito dahil mahalaga yung ating mga ibabalita for today dahil ito po yung kalagayan. Kung may kapamilya man po kayo na nasa Ilocos, mga kababayan, at nasa norte, At kung may pamilya man po kayo dyan, ay manood po kayo dito para malaman nyo po kung ano po ang sitwasyon at ano po ang ginagawa ng ating gobyerno ngayon. At live po ito, mga kababayan ko.
Pagbibigay ng cash assistance.
Huwag na huwag kayong BBTU, mga kababayan. In just a few minutes, mga kapatid, ay lilipat tayo sa isang press con kung saan andun si Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos at ang kanyang kapatid na si Senator Imee Marcos, mga kababayan. Lagay ito po yung update ngayon, mga kababayan ko, patno doon sa Abra. Ayan, mga kapatid, please don't forget to like this live streaming, mga kababayan ko. Paabutin natin ng 100 likes to kung tayo. I will, yes I will. Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Sheila Maceda. Ganyan po talaga sa Abra, mga kababayan, halos walang signal. Kaya dire-diretso po ang ating ano. Pero subalit kahit walang signal, mga kababayan ko, ay nakakapagbalita pa rin po ang ating gobyerno. Ito po ang dapat malaman ng ating mga kababayan, lalong-lalo na yung ibang mga Pilipino nag-aantay ng mga latest update ni Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. patungkol dito sa nangyayari ngayon sa Abra. Dito sa Norte, dahil alam niyo naman ang Ilocos Norte at ang Norte, mga kababayan, kagaya ng Abra, ay ang malubhang tinamaan, lalo-lalo na ang Benguet. Kaya ugaliin po natin na mag-like sa kada like nyo po, mga kababayan ko, ay marami po tayong manonotify at makikita nila. Nang sa ganun, hindi na magre-reklamo si Maharlika na pinapabayaan ng mga kababayan nating Pilipino. Ito po, namamahagi na po ng tulong si Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos kasama ang kanyang kapatid na si Senator Imee Marcos, mga kababayan ko. Pagpasensya nyo na po yung reception, medyo mabagal lang onte pero babalik at babalik din yan. Hello po sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat po. Babatiin ko lang po muna kayo. Maraming salamat po sa pagbisita. Thank you very much, Mr. Rome. Thank you for your super chat. Maraming salamat, Mr. Rome. Sabi mo 50 pesos na super chat. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Moira G. Agya ka aming unay apo. Ayan, Pbbm. Salamat din po, BNK. Salamat din po sa inyo, Ma'am Bidal. Ayan, Ani, maraming salamat po. Mukhang walang tulog si President Bongbong. Oo nga, galing pa ng Cebu yan. Galing pa ng Cebu, Joseph Gaspar.
Pasalamat sa ating
Japanese name, I don't know the name of Japanese name.
Thank
you very much for watching.
Mamamayan, ndang lalawigan
Tutok na kayo, mga kababayan ko. Wag na wag kayong bibitaw. In just a few minutes, magta-transfer kagad tayo. Sa likod lang yan. Sa likod lang yung press conference, mga kapatid. Sa likod lang po itong press conference dito. Ayan, palike po ako ng ating live stream ngayon, mga kababayan ko, mga solid supporter ng ating Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. Ayun, nako, si Senator Imee Marcos, kung makita nyo talagang naggagala, hindi talaga mawala ito si Senator. Itong si Senator Imee Marcos talaga, no, lapit na lapit sa mga tao, sobrang gala. Dahil kinakamusta po ni Senator Imee Marcos yung mga kababayan natin sa Abra. Ganyan po ang ugali ni Senator Imee, nauuna ang tao, kagaya ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, kapakanan ng lahat. Okay, mga kababayan ko, transfer tayo, wait lang transfer tayo dito sa kabila, mga kapatid. Transfer tayo. Dadaling ko kayo dito sa kabilang kabila lang nito. Don't worry, guys. Dadaling ko kayo doon para makita ninyo, mga kababayan ko. Ayan. Nandito lang sila. Delay lang tayo konti. Alright. Ito po yung kabuuan kanina ng press conference, mga kababayan ko. Panoorin natin, mga kababayan. Nasa likuran lang po ito ng function hall nila doon. So dito nga dinaos tong conference na dinaluhan ni Senator Imee Marcos at ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Ayan, mga kababayan ko.
Yung ating mga infrastructure na marami pong na-wash out. Mga tulay natin, maraming nasira. Mga kalsada. Ito.
Grabe, pati Ilocos Bridge yun nasira, oh. Diyos ko, mga kababayan, pati yung Ilocos, yung iconic Ilocos Bridge natin, nasira po, mga kababayan. As you can see, mga kapatid,
Kinagabihan, ang hirap na saklolo sa kanila. Kasi wala kang makitang
grabe pala ang nangyari sa Ilocos ngayon. Wait lang, mga kapatid. Magre-reconnection tayo. Nagre-reconnect lang tayo sa kanila. Nagre-reconnect lang po ako, mga kababayan ko. Habang nagre-reconnect tayo, please stand by. Huwag po kayong mawawala dito sa atin. Dahil nagre-reconnection yung ating ano. Ayan. Malaki pala to. Ayan, nagre-reconnect lang tayo kasi medyo mababa yung ating ano, mababa yung ating ayan po mga kababayan. Panoorin po natin.
All right. Habang nag-aantay tayo, I think we can move. The first presentation was supposed to be from Ilocos Norte. Habang inantay natin, I think we can go ahead with the
Ayan,
presentation.
please don't forget to like this live streaming mga kababayan. Kung nagsasalita na po si Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. kasama si Senator Imee Marcos.
Meron yata kayong video.
Apo madaydayaw nga Presidente Bongbong, Apo Senator Imee, digitay agkakadayaw nga opisyales ti Pagilian, pakairamanan, digitay dumadumang line agencies of the government, my fellow government workers, kada tayo amin, naimbag nga aldaw. I would like to present the situational report. I would like to present the situational report of Ilocos Sur by due to the super typhoon Egay. Through our ABP, we can watch our ABP which we prepared.
Okay.
This is the Quirino Bridge, the old Quirino Bridge.
Ito na mga kababayan, yung mga nag-update sa Quirino Bridge.
Tourism destination.
Para makita nyo po yung nangyari, mga kapatid, yung iconic bridge na pinupuntahan namin. Nasira na po.
May ilaw siya, tsaka sounds.
Yan po yung una.
At the eve of the anniversary of the traumatizing 7.1 earthquake last June 27, 1 year na po yun nakakaraan. Ito na naman, the agony of the Egay typhoon. Ganyan po,
Grabe, oh.
yung tubig na galing sa Abra, pataas ng pataas hanggang
Grabe, nasira niya na, oh.
tulay. At naianod na yung dalawang span na tangay.
Oh my God.
The volume of water went down to Bigan and Metro Bigan. So, flooded po lahat ang Metro Bigan.
Grabe damage mga kababayan, no? Naalala nyo ba yung iconic bridge na yan nung nagpunta dyan yung mga yung mga rider? Dumaan dyan yung mga rider nung campaign?
Lahat ng gamit nila, lalong-lalo na mahihirap. Sila ang mismong tabi ng ilog, mababar, seriously damaged. Yung ating mga infrastructure na marami pong na-wash out. Yung mga tulay.
Please don't forget to like this live streaming mga kababayan ko. Please don't forget. Palike po ako, paabutin natin ng 300 likes to mga kababayan. Nang sa ganun ay mapanood dito ng mga kababayan pa natin na nag-aalala yung mga nakatira sa Ilocos at sa parting norte. Malaking tulong po yung pagla-like ninyo dahil marireach po natin sila at makokontak po, makikita po nila yung situation ngayon na ibinabalita ng ating government.
Saklolo sa kanila. Kasi wala kang makitang kalsada, puro tubig. Very hard to penetrate yung nagpapasaklolo. Brownout. Walang signal. May mga na-injured at anim po ang namatay because of Egay. Yan po yung affected population, 28,000 families, 138 members of the 1,000 families. Yan, mga roads, bridges, spillways, communication-related incidents. Sa Kapitolyo, ginawa na namin evacuation center.
Grabe. Ano nangyari sa Ilocos? Pati sa norte, oh. Grabe, oh.
Ito yung mga nasa jeep natin. Hanggang ngayon, nasa evacuation center pa yung iba kasi hindi pa pwedeng bumalik sa kanilang bahay. Wala nang bahay yung iba, sira yung bahay ng iba. Yan po ang situational report ng Ilocos Sur, Mr. President. Sana po matulungan nyo kami, bumangon ulit. Numampay the Ilocanos, as we say, are resilient in whatever damaging kwan dyan, pero we still need your help, Mr. President. And with all the other line agencies.
Thank you.
And sir, if I may, remember July 27, 2022, earthquake po yan. We were victims of earthquake. Nasira yung ating ancestral buildings, mga ancestral churches.
Sa Bigan yun. Nandun kami nun.
NCCA, marami silang nagpunta noon, binisita kami dahil sa bilin mo, sir. Sabi mo sa akin noon, lahat ng agency ng gobyerno tutulong dyan. Awa ng Diyos, natupad naman, pumunta silang lahat. But then, after a month, nangako yung NCCA, eto na yung amount, this amount will go to this. 5 million up, kaming bahala, 5 million down, kayong mga local government. So we did our part, nagawa na namin. But 5 million up, sir, I would like to let you know, wala pa po. 1 year na namin noong July 27, eto na naman, egay.
Okay. Can we hear from DSWD how many people are in the
Grabe, oh. Anak ni Chavit Singson yan.
displaced or outside of the evacuation centers?
Mr. President, I actually called the governor the other day. The numbers kasi keep on moving dahil...
Of course.
Yeah,
Well,
but
whatever we have
our
now.
same numbers ho,
Well, binakbakan na ni Pangulo.
1,733 families. Pero dun sa report ni Gov, lumaki na ulit, naging 28,000 na eh. So this was printed last night, so I think dumami pa ho. Mr. President, for Ilocos Sur, we have 18,870
Yari kayo ay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, eh. Sermonan kayo ngayon.
distributed. Some are still with us. I actually spoke to the governor the other day. Sabi ko nga ho na anytime they need more food augmentation,
Yan, please don't forget to like this live streaming, mga kababayan ko. Please don't forget to like this live streaming.
yes, yung kay Gov na mas accurate 28,000, sa amin 22,000 families.
Can we go back in the presentation to see the damage, the damages? Mabilis kasi kanina. No, yung listahan.
Yari kayo kay Apo ngayon kung di kayo magtino. Ito yung sinasabi na napopokusan daw ang Ilocos Norte. Honestly, mga kababayan, ang Norte, tignan nyo mga kababayan ko. Hindi masyado napopokusan kasi focus si President Bongbong Marcos sa Luzon tsaka sa Visayas. Pero itong Norte, tignan nyo mga kababayan.
28,130. This is your latest number. Okay. Can we keep going? Yung konti pa, a little bit. Next slide. There's another slide after this. Oh, stop, please. Okay. Walang crops.
Grabe mga kababayan, grabe dinudulot ngayon. Mga kapatid, please don't forget to like this live streaming, mga kababayan ko. Patuloy natin suportahan ito.
Roads 49 are available. Ano yung 49?
Yung mga nasa may diferensya po.
Ay,
Mga damages.
okay. Oh. All right. Thank you. Okay.
Sir, I will submit our detailed
Sige.
situational
All
report,
right.
sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Gov.
Grabe, si Governor na ng Bigan na nag-submit.
Sige. Ito yung kailangan natin.
Nagsumbong na. Hala kayo.
Yeah. Sige. We'll go through this. Okay. Siguro, before we go to study in detail the Ilocos Sur situation report, we can now hear the situation report for Ilocos Norte. Gov Matt, if you would like to proceed.
Good morning. Magandang umaga po. Ay magabigat. We'll just keep it brief. Unang-una, of course, allow me to greet President Bongbong Marcos Jr., everyone from the different NGAs, my fellow governors.
Anak po ni Senator Imee Marcos ito, si Governor Matthew Manotoc.
Kasama po natin, magandang umaga. We can skip this slide. Of course, as we know, we were under Signal 4, no? At its peak. Next slide, please. These are preliminary data wherein we had 233 barangays, almost 17,000 families, and almost 60,000 individuals. As far as we're concerned, though, everyone was affected due to the blackout and persistent.
Please don't forget to like this live streaming, mga kababayan.
In terms of houses, we have almost 1,300 partially and almost 100 completely damaged. As of this time, as of yesterday, no one remained in the evacuation centers. Everyone had returned home. But our issue has been certain isolated areas wherein we've been either by foot or by air delivering food packs. These are not national roads, but the smaller roads that remain unpassable, specifically Vintar, Dingras, Pitig, even Paway, certain isolated areas. Next slide, please. We had a total of 4 casualties.
Wait, those areas that we cannot get through, have we made an assessment at all in the
Yeah.
Vintar, Pidig?
So everyone has been served, thanks to our mayors.
So the numbers that you're putting up include them already?
Which ones? But
The ones that were displaced, the ones that
yeah, they're certainly
kasama na
included.
yan dyan.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, they're
Alright.
certainly included.
Yes.
A total of 4 deaths, as mentioned, all due to drowning. Next slide, please. These are some of the isolated areas that I mentioned earlier. Solsona was another one.
Always.
Next slide, please. As of today, we've already distributed over 10,000 food packs, primarily thanks to DSWD. Actually, I'd like to thank all of our NGAs who have really been very helpful. OCD, DSWD, DOH, DPWH, lahat po have really been contacting me directly ng mga RDs and even from the central office. Nagpapasalamat po kami. We also have our mayors obviously picking up large numbers of food packs since last night because thankfully naka-uwi na po from our sauna lahat yata ng mga mayors natin. Kaya very untimely also that some of us were caught in Manila. But thankfully, I think everyone has really stepped up.
Yung LMP, nag-attend ba kayo ng LMP? Oo, kaya pala. Oh, yun, that's why.
In fact, si Cap Elmer nasa Hawaii yata, nasa States umuwi once he saw the forecast of the typhoon. He said he couldn't be on vacation once he saw the forecast. We can proceed. Next slide, please. Okay, this is Lawag as mentioned. Lawag especially really needs a long-term solution. I think one thing we need to look at, of course, is the dredging of the river systems, the drainage. In fact, sana we can work with DPWH also to...
They rescued over 2,000 people with 3 little rubber boats.
Yeah. On Wednesday night, thanks to the 4th Marine Brigade, dozens, perhaps hundreds of lives were saved, especially in Lawag, but in other areas as well. So we thank the PNP Maritime, the Navy, even Gov Jerry sent a group along with the Navy. No? Nagpapasalamat po kami. The search and rescue on Wednesday night was extremely burdensome. at very, very miraculous also in a way. Next slide, please. Here are our damages. Total of over 2.8 billion. Primarily DP and town infra, mga cities at mga municipios po. So, of course, long term, hopefully we can address these, but in terms of accessibility, that's our priority, as well as the food packs for the most part have been covered, but we will continue to do so. But I think in terms of housing will be the immediate need. And of course, water, drinking water, as we turn back on our electricity. I've asked the mayors also to consider partnering with water stations to make sure that everyone has drinking water. Next slide, please. Our agri damages brought over 361 million, primarily rice and agri infra. Also lots of livestock. Ito po ang paborito ng mga kakailian natin. So we're hoping also for additional livestock assistance from BAI under DA, and NTA I know also has. Next slide, please. This has since increased to 25%. For INEC, our backbone is already fully restored. And for the barangay coverage, we're at 25%. I failed to mention NIA Administrator Nani Almeda, who has also been extremely helpful and sent 9 teams from neighboring co-ops to assist INEC. As of course, this is paramount and urgent. Next slide, please. INWAD quite quickly got back on its feet, and as of yesterday was already at 88%. Next. Ito na lang po ang mga smaller roads na non-passable. I'm sure, Uncle Bong, you know many of these roads and have experienced these yourself, no?
Even ECEC is closed.
Yeah, ESEC, certainly. So as you can see, this is similar to the isolated areas, no? Next slide, please. That completes our brief presentation. And as I mentioned, SecRex has committed 25,000 food packs. So I don't think our food packs are an issue. Drinking water is still a need. We also have 4 choppers from the PNP, so that will really help reach the far-flung areas. Our priorities now, as mentioned, are water, electricity, housing.
Okay. Yeah. So, what are we doing about the water supply beyond providing bottled water? Yung sa purification, wala pa tayong. OCD, Ariel, are we bringing? Have we brought water purification units?
Good morning, Mr. President. Yes po. Kaya lang, dadalawa pa lang ho yung nakarating na water filtration machines natin. And then, of course, from the other regions, we will be sending more. Meron lang ho tayong 17. So, dalawa pa lang ho nandito. Then, 1 big truck from Camp Aguinaldo is on its way.
Ano yung mga how big is that? Yung
Yun
500 gallons?
Yung pong big truck can produce 24,000 liters a day. And then yung malilit lang ho yun okay. 6,000 liters per day lang po yun. But we have sent already. Then we will send more from the other regions. Isang filtration machine lang po per region kasi ang available.
That's what's happening na daw. Galing lang kami sa Cordillera. Ganun din ang siguro talagang tignan natin. Marami na naman. We'll have to look and see that to increase our capability because this is not. It looks like this is going to be happening more often than we hope. Alright. Yung sa kuryente, where's INEC?
Yeah, this is at 25% na po. I'm not sure if anyone here is from INEC. Baka hindi po
We have no
nakapasok.
INEC here. I was just worried because of all the provinces, we are the lowest in terms of having come back. Is there a particular reason? I heard about the mistake that somebody made that destroyed some of the power.
Right. That's what started the blackout in the northern towns po sa Pasukin by the bridge. One of our DPWH projects. The equipment took out the power line, basically.
Yeah.
That's what started it. But then obviously after the typhoon hit harder, we were all out.
What does INEC tell you? How long is this going to take?
Well,
Do they have to look at all the lines again?
yeah, thankfully I also asked RD Renel to help inspect kasi at least kung hindi maayos, at least ma-assess ng mismo, no, para masabi sa INEC kung saan yung mga damaged pa. And to help with the clearing and the posts and such. But obviously the electrical has to be handled by INEC and similarly skilled individuals.
Pero tinutulungan naman tayo ng linemen. May linemen na pinadala yung mga ibang probinsya. Mga ibang cooperative.
We have 9 teams po. So 9 complete linemen teams. So
Okay.
the improvement and the energizing should really pick up now kasi kakarating po nila, and NIA Administrator Nani set the goal of Sunday, which is now tomorrow. So I think they projected na within 2 days with all these teams, baka kaya po.
Okay.
So hopefully by tomorrow.
By tomorrow, how many? What percentage do you think we can get?
All, if not
We
most.
should get
Yeah,
most.
that's the plan.
Okay.
100% sana by tomorrow if we work extra overtime.
Because we were able to give the generators, but the generators are maliit lang eh. 8 kVA, di ba?
Please don't forget to like this live streaming, mga kababayan. Pa-like po ang ating live stream for today.
Okay, now, who can, saan ang opag? Who can give me when we were flying over, nakita ko yung agri-damage. Sino makapagbigay ng report ng agri-damage dito sa, where's your opag?
I don't think they're here. Attorney Pancho is here, our agri head, but we have a slide here. I think it was 361.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I think
that's
this is
not yet
still,
finished,
this will
yeah.
still increase, unfortunately. Primarily rice and agri infra po, and
Yeah, I wanted to ask because from the DA's point of view, what's the damage? Is it something that is it flooded? Pwede pa ba? Or kailangan na mag-provide ng bagong binhi para mag-plant ulit? Yung mais, ganun din. Yung high value crops, hindi naman malagay ko mas madaling problema yan kasi mabilis ang cycle. Pwede tayo makapag-provide ng seeds para dyan. Yung infrastructure. May may assessment ka na ba dun sa ating mga irrigation na facilities?
Yeah, yes, sir. Well, fortunately po for rice, karamihan po is nasa vegetative stage pa po. So I think yung mga karamihan sa damage po natin sa crops is mga high value po. But meron na hong nauna kasi, but karamihan ho is vegetative. Sa infra po naman, dito sa ating mga national irrigation systems, sa Ilocos lamang po is 394 million as of yesterday. Nag-evaluate pa po kami, sir. So, kailangan po namin sa estimate namin, mga around 20 million.
Ano yung mga damages?
Well, yung mga siphons, canals, may nawas out po kami mga canals, lalo sa Sulsura, sir. Malalaki po yung damage.
Ano na naman? Lagi dyan.
Fortunately lamang po, napansin namin ho, sir, yung mga dams namin below ng mga sabo dams,
Okay.
ay mas lesser ang damage. Kasi,
Talaga?
yes, ang sabo dam po kasi, sir, is like a weir dam eh.
Nag-umpisa sa Sulsaw na, kaya wala
Yes
pa
po.
silang,
Opo.
hindi na pang makontrol yung...
Kaya yung mga maraming damages, for example, sa Bintar, wala pong mga sabo dams dyan eh.
Wala.
Kaya yung mga malaki po ang sira, sir. But yung mga may sabo dam, medyo na-mitigate. Like in the case of Karasi, nasira sana yung ating Cora Dam kung wala po yung sabo dam doon. So, sabi ko nga po kay Director kanina, dadamihan pa nila yung para po yung velocity kasi ng tubig pagbaba, pag may weird dam, sabo dam, nalilesen po eh. So anyway, ang bulk po ng sira ng infra, sir, ng irrigation is sa Ilocos Norte. For the whole Region 1, ang estimate po namin is around 500 million. Sa Ilocos Norte lamang po is around 400 na eh. So, and yung immediate repair na kailangan po namin is around 50 million. Kaya tinabihan ko na po yung OCD dito, sir, para mabilis ang usapan.
Okay.
At yun po, sir.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Please don't forget to like this live streaming, mga kababayan. Paabutin natin ng 400 likes to, mga kapatid, nang sa ganun ay mablast natin tong news na to at makaabot sa mga kamag-anak na mga nasa norte, mga kababayan ko. Sa kada like mo, mga kapatid, ay marami tayong maaabot ng mga kababayan natin. Please paabutin natin to ng 400 likes.
All our food packs, we just give it to the mayor.
We turn it over to the province.
To the
Yeah.
province,
The
and
will
same,
be allocated.
yeah. Okay, ganun din sa so, yeah, that's
Primarily through the mayors, but certain barangays we've also contacted directly to validate also, no, that they're all right, and we have turned over to some capitanes, and at the same time informing the mayors of that turnover, to at least make sure, you know, that we can also go direct to the capitanes.
Yes. So, but are there enough? You said it's not an issue. There are enough food packs.
Yeah,
We're all right. Okay.
thanks to SecRex, we have more than enough food packs. Our problem is how to distribute.
Good. That's not that's a
Good
that's a
problem.
better problem than not having any. Okay. So we've moved away from the rescue part. We're now in the relief, and we have to start thinking about since nakauwi na yan, may rebuilding yan, repair, and then wala tayong human settlements, but they will also provide assistance in those that were fully destroyed. I think had 96 fully destroyed residences. So yun ang pwede na, that's what we are going to do. But I will bring these reports to
Please don't forget to like this live streaming, mga kababayan. Paabutin natin ng 400 likes nang sa ganun mag-blast po itong news natin for today. Latest update sa norte
but anyway,
with the President Bongbong Marcos and Senator Imee Marcos. Please don't forget to like this live streaming.
kung ano yung takbo, more or less we'll just keep preparing and padala kami ng padala ko ng kailangan. All right, let's move on now to the La Union situation report.
His Excellency, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., Senator Imee Marcos, Congressman Sandro Marcos, to my dear colleagues of the League of Provinces, my dear governors, to our friends from the national government agencies, to our dear secretaries present today, our dear mayors din po, na imbag nga aldaw kada tayo amin apo. First and foremost, I'd like to thank all of you, from our friends, of course, to our dear President, to our friends from the Senate, our friends from the Congress, and our friends from the national government agencies for reaching out to me personally and to the provincial government of La Union for any assistance that you may be able to provide to help us in our plight, especially during the effects of the Super Typhoon Egay. I would usually reply, La Union is faring well, because if there would be provinces who would need immediate assistance, it would be the provinces of Ilocos Norte and Ilocos Sur. But now, given the chance to show to all of you our presentation thus far on the partial situation report on the damages done on La Union by Super Typhoon Egay, please allow me to have your attention for a few minutes. So this is La Union situation after Egay, PH, as of July 28, 2023. So we have a total of 91 total incidents. 77 of these are flooded areas. 25 have already subsided. provided. We have 1 collapsed bridge for inspection, 9 rain-induced landslides which have all been cleared, and 4 stranded individuals who have already been rescued. So most of yung roads naman po natin and yung bridges na na-damage po, it's not part of yung national highway po natin and main road. So mostly mga inner roads na po siya, yung mga na-damage po natin. We have a total of 15,800 families affected, 61,900 individuals, and a total of 268 barangays out of the 576 barangays in the entire province affected. And we only have 1 reported injury po. So no deaths reported po as of today. So moving on, ito po yung roads and bridges natin. 17 have been affected, 3 are already passable, 14 not passable, and we have 1 unpassable bridge po, which have been temporarily fixed by the municipality involved, pero kailangan pa rin po sanang ayusin para hindi lang po siya yung temporary na pwedeng magamit.
Why are the 14 still not possible? Ano yan, landslide o nasira?
Sira po,
Na-erode
Mr.
na talaga.
President.
Nag-erode sa ilalim.
Yes po, nag-erode na po.
That's harder to fix.
Yes po. So moving on po, yung next slide po natin. So for our power, a total of 167 barangays experienced power interruptions. Pero as of yesterday po, we have about 152 restored. I actually received a call from Governor Matthew as well yesterday para makapagkuha po ng assistance sa mga local cooperatives po natin who are connected din po with Ilocos Norte para kahit papaano po makapag-assist din po kami with the power restoration po dito sa Ilocos Norte. And then, to add nga po pala doon sa last slide po natin on infrastructure damage po natin, I have about 2 damaged health facilities in the province po, which was just reported to me by our regional director of the DOH. We have yung Caba District Hospital amounting to about 2 million pesos in damage. And we also have yung Rosario Health Center po natin located in Barangay Parasapas, Rosario, amounting to 736,000 pesos lang naman po yung estimated damages for that. So moving on po tayo. Next slide please. So yan po yung power natin. Next slide. Damaged houses po, we have about 845 total damaged houses with 68 being totally damaged and 777 partially damaged pa po. So this is just yung, again, partial situation report. Probably lumaki pa po yung mga numbers po natin pero as of yesterday, yan po yung nakuha nating numbers. Next slide po tayo. Cost of damages po natin, estimated damage to agriculture is about 37 million pesos and estimated damage naman po to infrastructure is 295,000 pesos. Pero yung nga po with more reports coming in, mukhang lalaki pa po yung mga infrastructure estimates po natin. Next po. Preemptive evacuation, nagkaroon po tayo ng preemptive evacuation. 7 evacuation centers were used po to house 42 families and a total of 123 individuals. Next. Assistance provided, we had a total 4,300,000 cost of assistance po, and majority of this came from the Department of Social Welfare and Development. So thank you very much, Secretary, and to our proactive regional director then po for always keeping in touch with us. And we also have, syempre, from yung mga local government units po natin, from the provincial government and non-government organizations din po. Next slide. As for disaster preparedness, so ever since po na we were raised to red alert status, La Union 911 Public Safety Answering Point was activated 24/7, and 100% of our local DRRM operation centers were activated, and of course 100% of PDRRMC member agencies are always in constant coordination. But as of yesterday po, yung red alert status po ng La Union, nababa na po namin sa blue alert status. Next. Rescue augmentation, we also sent rescue augmentation for Ilocos Norte. Nag-send po tayo ng jet ski and diving equipment and a total of 5 water search and rescuers po natin. Pinadala rin po natin dito to help po with the search and rescue efforts of Ilocos Norte. Next. Recovery assistances. So ito po yung mga urgent needs po na kakailanganin ho natin sa La Union. For agriculture, of course, we'll need subsidy for damaged harvest po natin. As of now, wala pa po akong numbers if meron din po bang livestock na mga nadamay po during the typhoon. Pero once the report comes in po, we'll be in constant coordination with our DA. Funds to repair damaged agri-infrastructures, of course. For infrastructures naman po, we need to repair yung mga damaged bridges and roads po natin. And yung main priority po po talaga is yung housing for typhoon victims. But more than housing po, if we could also appeal to DSWD to help us with yung emergency shelter assistance po natin for cash assistance na pwede po nating mabigay for those whose houses were partially damaged po from the typhoon. And of course, tuloy-tuloy pa rin pa naman po yung relief efforts po namin. As of yesterday and today, yan po yung tinututukan po natin. Additional relief po for victims, pero we are in constant coordination din naman po with our regional director with regards po dito. So, yun lang po. I believe that's the end of my presentation. Tuloy-tuloy po. Naniniwala po ako, basta tulungan po tayong lahat. And of course, being one region po, dito sa Region 1, you can expect La Union to provide assistance din po sa mga neighboring provinces natin whenever needed po. So, thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity.
Thank you for the assistance that you provided the province. Maraming salamat. So I think the agri situation is a little better than Ilocos Sur and Ilocos Norte, and even in the Cordillera. But the infrastructure is a bit, kung talagang nasira nung ganon. At mukhang dito sa atin, yung infrastructure ang tinumal. Yung Quirino Bridge, can you imagine, naputol yung dalawang span, natanggal yung dalawang span. So,
Mr. President, kahit na anong development ang gawin natin, will go to waste if our rivers will not be dredged. Kasi the volume of water coming down, wala nang ilog namin, flat na, silted na silted. Kaya ang tubig, rumaragasa sa bukid, sa mga bayan-bayan, wash out ang tananim, wash out ang mga bahay. So we need to dredge our rivers, Mr. President.
So ito naman sa La Union, the damage to agriculture is 37 million. That's still, it's not a small number, but it's manageable. And I think it will, as I said, I'm pretty sure, I'm making the assumption that it will increase. But the thing that we have to look at is the infrastructure. But we will get the details from the OCD report. But before we get to that, Pangasinan has a presentation also to make on their situation regarding Typhoon Egay.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the province of Pangasinan, I'd like to present to this body our good President Bongbong Marcos, our Senator Imee Marcos, Deputy Speaker Congressman Sandro Marcos, of course, members of the local chief executives, members of the cabinet, regional directors. Magandang tanghali po sa ating lahat. Mr. President, this is a situational report of the province of Pangasinan. This is primarily based on data that was submitted to us some 6 p.m. yesterday with some minor updates that were given at some 6 a.m. this morning. So just a quick background on the history of the past few weeks, Mr. President. We raised a tropical storm signal number 1 from July 24 to 26, and then July 26 it was raised to typhoon signal number 2. Eventually, on July 27th, the typhoon signals was lifted, and only orange and yellow rainfall alerts were raised by Pag-asa in the province of Pangasinan. Next slide, please. As part of the preparedness of the province of Pangasinan, I could say, Mr. President, that the province of Pangasinan relatively fared again well compared to the other provinces here in Region 1, especially compared to Ilocos Norte and Ilocos Sur. There were massive early preparations done by our disaster risk reduction management offices as early as Friday. And we have already pre-positioned the necessary goods in the strategic areas as early as 72 hours before the arrival of the typhoon. Next slide, please. One of the major response operations that we had, Mr. President, was when our brothers and sisters from Ilocos Norte called. We also sent a group of 8 PDRMO personnel, particularly water assets here in Lawag, Ilocos Norte. As far as relief operations, we'd like to thank the DSWD for at least 2,600 family packs that were already released as of yesterday. And for today, July 29, there are still additional schedules of releases in at least 3 municipalities. Next slide, please. As far as the impacts of the typhoon in the province of Pangasinan, there are 81 barangays that were affected, 50 of those coming from the 9 municipalities and 1 cities that are under the political jurisdiction of the province, while all municipalities under the Gupan City, which is an independent component city, are affected by the floods. As of 6 p.m., Mr. President, there are 245 families or 970 individuals who are evacuated. But I was informed earlier today that this number has been reduced to 219 families, amounting to 593 individuals. So there's already a reduction of the evacuees, and we're expecting this to go lower in the next update at around 6 p.m. As far as environmental impacts, there are reports of fallen trees in several areas, with one major landslide in Malico, San Nicolas, Pangasinan. That's the Villa Verde path connecting the province of Pangasinan and the province of Nueva Vizcaya. But this was cleared yesterday at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, so that path is already passable. As far as infrastructure, Mr. President, there's a total, next slide please. There's a total of 32.9 million pesos worth of infrastructure damages among all the 6 districts. But these are all relatively minor infrastructure damages.
Damages to what?
More on farm-to-market roads,
Roads
Mr.
and
President.
bridges, yan.
Yes, but very minor. There are no reports of impassable national or provincial roads in the province of Pangasinan, as well as bridges that cannot be accessed. So all major roads and thoroughfares in the province, both national and provincial, and even in municipal roads, these are generally passable. Most are on farm-to-market roads that were washed off by runoff. I'd like to add, for agricultural damages, we have already reported damage of around 69 million, with bulk of the damage coming from the corn production, which is actually the season due for the harvesting, kaya marami po tinamaan. We're very lucky that during this moment, as far as Palay is concerned, nasa early stages po. So flooded sila, but we will know in the coming days kung recoverable po yung damages sa Palay. We also have 5 million damages as far as high-value crops and around 876 as far as fisheries. We also reported 1.1 million pesos worth of damages to livestock. As far as the damaged houses, 89 partially damaged and 14
Pag
totally
sinabi mong
damaged.
livestock damage, anong ibig sabihin yan?
Yung sa general infrastructure po ng mga livestock
That's the
facilities,
infra. That's
infra
not
as well
about-
as some of the, as well as yung kanilang mga produce mismo, yung mga livestock, mga nilipad po ng mga poultries, mga manok, but very minor po. Ang reason po niyan, Mr. President, is that we have no reported flooding due to the releasing of the dam, because as of right now, the water level in San Roque is only at 258, which rose by 6 meters as compared to yesterday due to the release of being a dam. Pero malayo pa po ito sa spill level ng San Roque, so wala pong releases ang San Roque. What the province of Pangasinan is experiencing is runoff from the torrential rains over the previous 72 hours. But over the past 24 hours, tumigil na po. And today, we're only expecting light to moderate rains in the province of Pangasinan. What we're monitoring right now, Mr. President, is the impact of the rising waters in Sinucalan River, which is affecting Dagupan City primarily. Because right now, the water level in Sinucalan is already at 7.8, which is already 0.8 meters higher above the critical level. So umaapaw na po yung Sinucalan. This can affect also the adjacent municipalities of Calasiao and Santa Barbara. Pero primarily po, lubog po basically ang Dagupan City ngayon. I don't have the exact figures of Dagupan City, but that is the general situation. All barangays in Dagupan City are experiencing flooding right now, Mr. President. So as far as casualties, we have no reported cases of fatalities or casualties in the province. And like I said, the Pantal-Sinucalan River is what we are monitoring because it's still rising in the past 24 hours. That's why the Dagupan City has already declared a state of calamity yesterday through the resolution 8073-2023. I'd like to echo as well the statement of Governor Rafi Ortega of La Union that being a member of the Ilocos region, the province of Pangasinan is ready to extend any assistance to our fellow brothers and sisters in the Ilocos region, Mr. President. That will be all. Thank you.
That's it. All right. Siguro malayo-layo na ng konti. Kaya ang Pangasinan from its further south, so not so severe ang damage. But I think all of that, especially wala na kayong evacuees.
It already got lower as of 12 noon, Mr. President. Pero ina-expect namin, karamihan po nasa Dagupan and Calasiao area po kasi kung saan tumataas po yung Sinucalan. But that number already went down earlier.
Anong forecast ninyo sa tubig, sa water level? Pagbaba ng tubig galing Abra?
wala po kasing release ang dam, sir. So
Yes,
ito po
wala.
ay run-off talaga ng mga ulan. But since the past 24 hours, light to moderate na lang po, I'm hoping that the 12 noon update should show a decrease in the water level of Sinocalan. If that would be the case, bababa na po, magre-recede na po yung flooding sa Calasiao, Santa Barbara, and Dagupan City.
All right. Okay, thank you. Mukhang at least that's some good news. It's not Pangasinan was not so hard hit. Now the overall overview rather of the situation as it came and what we are doing now. We will get the briefing from the Office of Civil Defense. Who will give us the briefing?
Thank you, Mr. President. For the to present the consolidated report on the initial interventions and assistance provided to the entire region, may I call on our officer on the ground, retired General Greg Cayetano, our regional director for the Office of Civil Defense, Region 1.
Your Excellency, President Ferdinand Bongbong Romualdez Marcos Jr., sir, Senator Imee Marcos, members of the House of Representatives, members of the Cabinet present here, our Special Assistant to the President, Secretary Antonio Lagdamero Jr., our Region 1 governors, vice governors, and mayors present here. Morning po. And our CDA USEC Arel Pumbusan, sir. And National Line Agencies present here today. Allow me to present the monitoring by the OCD Region 1. But may mga data po dito na kailangang i-update lang natin kasi medyo because of the events that happened, medyo nahuhuli po yung ibang data. Next slide, please. So ito po yung aming data. But I believe there are notable data here like dead, only one. We only recorded one. It's because that we are stringent in verifying with the DILG as to the cause of death, whether it's disaster related or not. Basically po, may apat na po tayong confirm ngayon. One lang po inalagay muna. There are incidents that namamali po kami mag-report ng dead pero hindi naman pala disaster related, which is why we are really dependent upon the local government units and the DILG to confirm, to include death certificates for the dead. So ito po ang flooded areas pa sa La Union. We have declaration of state of calamities in 2 provinces. Next slide, please. So ito po yung sa status of lifeline. We recorded 32 roads not passable but nag-decrease na po ito. And we have 3 bridges not passable in La Union. 73% of the affected LGUs electrification were restored, but this is still subject to confirmation po. Medyo kailangan po namin ng tulong na makakuha talaga ng real-time data from the electric cooperatives sa Kasanea. Then we have 6 flights canceled and communications interruption of 6. We have, but this one, 275 damaged houses, ito po ay dependent po kami sa pagre-report ng mga PDRIMOS sa amin. Pag medyo nalilate po, medyo hindi rin po tumatama yung aming figures. Pagpasensyahan niyo na po yung aming figures. Next slide, please. So ito po yung non-food items that have been provided by the OCD Central Office, as shown, for Ilocos Norte. Initially po, we were able to provide upfront 2 8.5 kVA generators on the night of the dilubyo po and 1 75 kVA. Yun pong available sa aming opisina sa San Fernando. Pinadala po namin dito kaagad. And eventually, more generators are coming.
So when you average it out, it comes up to 75.
Okay, next slide please. We now go to the different agencies that
Please don't forget to like this live streaming, mga kababayan ko. Paabutin natin ng 450 likes itong mga kapatid.
Po sa amin
Tutukan po natin to yung mga kababayan natin sa Abra at sa parting norte, lahat ng norte sa probinsya ng norte, mga kababayan, ay talagang dumanas ng matinding ang pinsala. And right now, mga kapatid, tutukan po natin itong pagtutok ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos dito ngayon sa Abra.
Specifics nitong situation na ngayon.
Yes, sir. So for the Department of Agriculture, ito po yung kanilang, please play. Ito po yung kanilang na-prepare, prepositioning of, for rice amounting to 1,900 bags.
What is that? Yan yung kailangan o yan yung ibibigay?
Yan po yung sir yung available na piniprepare nila. But
That is available for?
For distribution, sir, according to their reports to us.
All right.
But hopefully the DA can assist us in giving us more particulars on this. For rice, hybrid regular, 1,900 bags. Hybrid, also 1,500 bags to cover 1,500 hectares. Certified seed buffer, 1,000 bags for 500 hectares, intended for 500 hectares. Ito po yung ini-earmark nila. Then for corn, OPB seeds, 400 bags for 400 hectares, intended for 400 hectares. High value craft development program of assorted vegetable seeds at 50 kilograms. Yan po yung report ng DA. Next slide, please. For the human settlements and urban development, ito po yung information na nabigay sa amin. They have informed the LGUs for the provision of rental subsidy under Track A. And they are allocating 1,000 pesos per family as emergency shelter financial assistance for totally damaged housing units. And they are coordinating with the UN International Organization for about 500 shelter-grade tarpaulins. Iko-coordinate pa po nila ito. They are in the process of negotiations with the IOM. Next slide po. For the National Housing Authority, continuous coordination with the LGUs in assessing the damaged houses in preparation for the packaging for emergency housing assistance also, or the EHAP. And they are proposing to request for 25 pesos as cash grant assistance to families with damaged houses in the region. So they, back. They are proposing 200,000 pesos for totally damaged houses and 10,000 pesos for partially damaged houses. Next slide, please. Ito naman po sa DOLE, distributed per province and three sectors in Pangasinan. For immediate implementation po yung kanilang nag-gather the fund initiatives of district and party representatives, totaling to 87 million pesos for targeted 20,038 beneficiaries. At may additional fund po for implementation ng Emergency Response Fund with a total amount of 20.39 million, which is intended for 5,027 beneficiaries, or a total of 107.6 million pesos for a total beneficiary of 25,065. Next slide, please. Sa ating mga na-deploy po na uniform service na nagtumulong sa immediate search and rescue, yung naval forces and ano po ito, evacuation ng haul ng evacuees. So sa 4th Marine Brigade po na nakadestino sa Burgos, Ilocos Sur, meron po silang isang watercraft na pinadala at mga vehicles po for the mobilization of supplies and evacuation of affected individuals. Yung ating 525th Engineer Brigade po, under ng 51st Engineer, 525th Engineer Battalion.
Ano yung KM500, KM250, what is that?
Ang ano po, pag nakikita nyo sa highway, ito pong 250, ito po yung pinakamaliit na version ng troop carrier ng Army.
Okay.
Ang katapat naman po na mas malaki-laki na parang M35, 5-tonner, ito pong KM500.
Oh, sige. I understand. Okay.
450 po, ito yung malaki-laki na. So ito po, nanggaling pa itong 5 to 5th Engineering Combat Battalion. Galing pa po ito sa Libis. Diretso po ito dito sa Lawag. Medyo nagda-die down na po yung, yung search and rescue. Kaya nagamit po sila sa ibang activities na. Next slide, please. We are thankful for the Pbbm Pangasinan for helping out in Ilocos Norte. Ito po yung kanilang dineploy. The Army personnel are the reservists. They provided 5 rubber boats. A correction. Yung nasa kanila po yung jet ski. A correction po. Dream on ng La Union. Maraming salamat po, Gob, for the jet ski also. Ito po yung nagtatawag po kami ng Dream on sa different provinces kasi po kailangan tulong dito sa Ilocos Sur and lalo na po sa Ilocos Norte. Kaya nung pumayag, medyo pasalamat po kami sa mga Pidrimos nyo sa kanilang pagtungod sa aming request po. Medyo delikado po nung Wednesday night. Kahit gabi na po, nag-search and rescue sila. Pero yun nga po, medyo malakas ang agos, hindi rin sila masyado nakagalaw. Ito po, mga pictorials na lang po ito. Kung ano nangyari nung unang response nila. Slide. Next slide. Slide. So that's all, Mr. President. Thank you and good day.
All right, thank you. Okay, it's useful to find out what are the average, but I think that altogether, very clearly it's Ilocos Norte and Ilocos Sur with La Union. La Union, for whatever reason, it's the infrastructure that has been damaged. The biggest damage that La Union has suffered from EGAI. Everyone has suffered from agricultural damage. Kaya kailangan natin talagang tignan na mabuti yan so that we in the DA can respond quickly. So continue to send, as I said earlier, kahit hindi pa kumpleto, padala nyo sa amin mga report ninyo para makapaghanda naman kami, especially, I'm talking on the national government. Just keep sending us the reports para makapaghanda kami, makapag-source kami kung ano yung kailangan pa. I think food packs were okay. So if we are in the relief phase now, pagkain na lang yan. Yung tubig, kailangan natin, we have to find a way to get more of those purification units. I think there are more. MMDA yung marami. The last time they were able to send 6. So tignan natin because yun ang magiging critical. We can only bring so many bottles of water. Yung single-use pa ito, bawal dito. So, let's anyway. But that's going to be the next. Meron tayong. It's for the medical side. Meron tayong mga medical teams na umikot para dun sa mga, nasaktan, nasugatan, nagsakit, hinika, whatever.
Yes, in Ilocos Norte, I think you've already established several that are going around, and that's what I was going to mention, if I may add. Human life is primordial that we preserve during a disaster, and we have had some deaths. It's important we institute some free consults and some roving medical teams. We've done that already in Ilocos Norte, but we need the help of the DOH so that they can provide the medicines for those who suffered cardiac arrest. There's quite a few during the storm. I think there's diabetes medicine required, hypertension medicine, and of course the inevitable infections that will arise, cholera, dysentery, and even dengue. Siguro mabuti mag-launch na rin ang Oplandalus because there's stagnant pools of water in the entire province. And that's one. Unmentioned has been the DOH. Secondly, I'd also like to report the unfortunate timing of this typhoon, which arrived exactly 1 month before the opening of class, August 28th. The schools have suffered significant damage. I don't think they are within the capability of the Brigada Escuela So I don't know where we will be able to do this. Bangsirit in Bacara, for example, Arusip, Nagrebkan, Lanao National School, a lot of the schools in Palyas and in Solid North Bintar, these are all unusable, and within the month we will be starting. Saan kaya makakakuha ng tulong, Mr. President, the DPWH, dahil yung DepEd, sabi nila talagang hirap sila dyan. Ikatlo, namomroblema po kami dyan sa housing, in as much as the, ayoko magsumbong pero yung DSUD medyo unresponsive. Santa Praxedes in Cagayan, as well as many groups in uplands, Ilocos Sur, are already requesting housing assistance, as we saw. And yet, after the transfer from DSWD to DSUD, we're not certain where to go. So, to all of you, perhaps we can resolve these issues, and the President can help us here.
All right, thank you. Yes, those are the general elements that you. I'm surprised that the DSUD is not here, because they generally come immediately to. Oh, you. So, what is the response that DSUD is have for those? Usually, may emergency response ang DSUD for the different. Yung mga damage na ganyan, housing.
We called the secretary, and the office said, just go ask NHA. They did not refer us to the region,
That's
and
also true.
it's a little bit confusing.
Good morning, Mr. President,
So, yes, NHA.
Senator Imee. There's a letter sent already to the various LGUs seeking the names that will be given assistance, those that will be given that suffered totally damaged houses.
All right.
Po.
Okay.
And also
See,
there will be shelter grade tarps that will be given to.
I know that this would always has a emergency response for the destroyed houses, especially. Yun ang pinaprioritize nila. So now the problem is the schools. We have to probably get supplemental funding.
Wala silang pang-repair.
And there's also there's also this upcoming issue of who does it, the LGU or the national government. Yeah. So well, anyway, those are
Maybe the
the.
calamity funds, the contingency
It
funds.
will
of the
have to
President.
come out of the.
Calamity,
We'll find it.
contingency.
We'll find it. We have to. Have you made an assessment of what are the damages? What will it? How much will it take to
Maraming
fix?
bubong, karamihan mga bubong totally ripped off, and many of them yung mga coastal, yung mga poste, syempre tangay kalahati ng classroom.
Okay. Oh, sige.
Andito
We'll ask. Give
it's
me.
complete na actually.
No, sige. That is Ilocos Norte.
Yeah, that's Norte
Oh, we
pa
have to
lang.
get also from
I'm sure
La
Sur and
Union
the
and
rest
Ilocos
have
Sur.
similar problems.
Yes, I'm sure it's exactly the same. Pero yung infrastructure, I don't know how. I don't think the infrastructure is the figures there include damaged school buildings. So I think I'm correct in assuming that it's because it is not under the DPWH, although there will be the implementing agency at some point. Depends on how we do it. But in a month, what can we do in a
Yeah.
month?
That's right. Well, in many cases, these are roofs, so I think it can be done quickly, hopefully. And again, we'd like to reiterate the request for medicine.
For?
Because, yes,
For medicine?
yes, I think we need a lot of medicine, given that we should be undertaking free consults all over the region. The three regions, as a matter of fact, Region 1, 2, CAR, as well as the areas in Bulacan and Pampanga that are clearly underwater as well.
The problem with the medical teams is it's not so much here. Generally, we put a medical team in each of or a roving medical team, and there's a medical team for the evacuation centers.
Yes.
Pero marami nang
Kaya ng-
nakabalik.
Kaya ng lokal, yung
so-
medical team, kulang sa medisina, and yun nga, the hypertension, high blood, diabetes, the usual, and then the infection, of course, that will be spreading
Here's
very
the thing:
shortly.
we can only procure common medicines, not prescription medicines.
That's fine, as long as they're in the
You will
national
have to.
formulary, we'll be all right.
They need to see a doctor, and a doctor has to prescribe the medicine. We're not allowed to do that. We can buy it, but it still has to be the doctor still has to see them, and a doctor still has to say that they need their maintenance, whatever it is.
Marami tayong doktor sa lokal. Okay lang muna.
Mr. President, if I may also, DOH actually, the storm hit Tuesday afternoon, and DOH actually quickly sent supplies both Wednesday and Thursday, including medicine. So we're quite grateful for that. With regard to housing, if I may, I talked to RD Rick earlier. I think it's 10K also cash assistance. If I may humbly recommend, in times of extreme calamity like this, cash is actually not
very useful.
that helpful.
Yeah.
So I think if we can, there should be a mechanism wherein construction materials or temporary shelters or tents are actually distributed in the first phase of recovery. And then obviously later on, the cash can then be used. But the construction materials are really primary.
We'll do both. The reason that we give cash very soon after is because there are things that people need that are not included in the relief goods. For example, medicines or baby care, things like this, formula, yung mga ganon, na hindi kasama sa mga pack natin. So at some point, I remember nung last time, hiningian tayo, sabi cash na kasi marami kaming gustong kailangan bilhin na hindi nga kasama, kailangan namin na pambili. So that's why we do both. We do both. There comes a point after which they've settled, especially if they're in the evacuation centers. Once they've settled themselves there, yung needs nila, with the basic needs are all provided for: water, food, shelter. They have the tents, etc. Ang sumusunod dyan, hihingi na ng cash. Because kailangan nga nilang bumili ng mga bagay na hindi kasama sa food pack, hindi kasama sa sanitary pack, hindi kasama sa hygiene kit, hindi kasama sa mga ganun.
Are we
So
still
that's
at the
why
same levels, 10,000 and 30,000?
for
And then yung totally damaged?
10,000 for the partial and 20
And what about the totally
20
damaged? Kaya nga, pero magkano yung sa totally damaged?
10,000. Hindi, totally 20.
Separate po yung sa NHA 20 po.
20.
And then there will be from this wood 10,000 for the totally damaged po.
10,000 lang totally damaged?
20,000.
20 also from the NHA po.
Oo. There's from the NHA also. Yeah.
So walang nalilito ako, 20 plus 10. 20 plus 10 ang sinasabi mo. Sa partial,
Sa partial,
parang kasi
ilan yung
parang
sa-
ang gulo kasi sa DSUD at saka sa NHA. Natsuchubibo kami, paikot-ikot, pabalik-balik. Pwede lang sabihin kagad kasi they urgently need it. Sabi nga ni Gov. Jerry, wala nga silang mauwian, kaya nandiyan pa rin sa evacuation center.
Sorry, if I may, as far as I know, it's all cash-based.
That's
So
right.
I think
It's all cash-based.
my
There's
humble
no income.
suggestion, if it's possible, that construction materials are also considered, because as of now, basically we house them in tents or sa evac centers. In the meantime, their house is in shambles. No? So as far as I know, if I'm not mistaken, there is no agency that provides construction materials in times of emergency. So I am
that's
humbly
correct.
recommending that I think that be considered in the future.
Yes, that's correct. There are certain barangays like Lasien, for example, in Badok, there are unreachable. There's no hardware store where they can procure the GI sheets, the pako, and lahat ng kinakailangan para itayo ulit ang bahay.
Yeah.
They moved it out kasi of DSWD. Now it's magulo. It's all cash eh.
Kasi sa Yolanda, ganun din ang ginawa namin.
You can just buy the GI sheets,
Kaya
remember?
namili kami ng marami kasi makamura ka pati. Pati martilyo, pati lagari, pati pako, pinamimigay namin.
And they're
Tapos
not
yung
substandard.
GI
Isa pa
sheet,
yun.
2x4, 2x2.
Can that be part and parcel of a special effort to re-roof both the school buildings as well as the houses?
Turi.
To to re-roof all the houses and the special and the school buildings.
We'll look first at the list and see how we're going to go about
Kasi
it, and then
marami-rami sila eh.
and then how we're going to pay for it. Where will we get the? There are emergency funds that we can access. Okay. All right. I think that's a fairly thorough overview of Region 1. So, is there anything else that anybody would like to add? Okay, thank you all very much. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat.